How can we stimulate maximum muscle growth without risking injury? As you watched the previous episode, you might have thought, 100% effort. How can that be safe? In this episode, we're going to cover how we can exercise so safely that even going for a walk can be put to shame. During our workouts, there are 3 things we can do, not only to make our exercise more effective and efficient. Those 3 things are absolutely crucial for safety. Done correctly, we can make exercise even safer than going for a walk. We're going to look at how to breathe properly during exercise, how to keep our connective tissue and joints safe, maintaining proper form and effective range of motion. Let me tell you a story about a guy. Just like a lot of other guys that have been going to the gym for several years, he thought he knew all there was about exercise. Strangely, as soon as his body started to look and feel the way that he wanted, something always happened, like stiffness, shoulder pain, knee pain, back pain. And he often thought, what's the point of even trying? I'll never get that physique that I want. The most recent injury took him almost 4 years to recover from, and he had to start over from scratch. Have you ever felt like something's just pointless? That guy in the story is actually this guy. Over the years, I've had shoulder impingements, I've had issues with my knees, I even herniated a disc in my lower back so badly that I couldn't even walk. I had to literally crawl on the floor and ended up needing surgery. I've told myself several times that it's not worth even trying, that it's pointless, that I'll never get that physique that I want. The best thing is that I was wrong. All of my injuries could have easily been avoided. And my biggest reason for building this program is to help you avoid doing the same mistakes that I've done. So you don't have to waste years and go through pain trying to figure this out on your own. A very common mistake that we want to avoid is to confuse competitive lifting with exercise, as the goals are very different. How to perform an exercise can actually be quite the opposite. So how are we supposed to breathe during exercise? We need to breathe freely through an open mouth with our neck neutral without grunting or grimacing. Actually, most people do the opposite of this. As it gets harder, we tend to hold our breath and push. There are some real dangers to this, as it can cause blood pressure spikes and drops. We can get painful headaches, and in worst case, even heart problems. By breathing freely and relaxed through an open mouth, not only do we decrease the risk for problems, it will also help us to perform better. How can we keep our joints and connective tissue safe? Have a look at these 2 examples. Which of them looks safest, and why is that? It's quite simple. Explosive movements and changing direction quickly causes peak forces. And our joints, ligaments, tendons and other tissues, they're the ones that take the hit. And also, less jerking and heaving means more continuous loading, which is exactly what we need for efficiency. What is proper form and effective range of motion? Effectiveness and efficiency really goes hand in hand with safety. To keep it simple, we want to move in the way our joints are intended to, and we want to use the most effective part of the movement, where the muscles are under constant meaningful load. A great example of this is a squatting motion, like a leg press. To track joint function, we don't want our knees to cave in, as this can cause irritation or injury to the knee. And we want to use the most effective range of motion, which means avoiding the easier parts and spending more time in the harder part of the exercise. Now, we're not in the gym to rest now, are we? So to summarize, remember to breathe freely through an open mouth. Just let your jaw hang loose and really fight that urge to hold your breath and push when it gets hard. To minimize those tearing peak forces and momentum, we want to take away all of the slack in the movement and really gradually lift and lower the weights. The absolutely easiest way to reduce our risk for injury is simply to slow down. Besides drastically reducing peak forces and momentum, it will also make it easier for us to really focus on finding that effective range of motion and be more mindful of how well we perform each repetition. As research has shown over and over again, the muscles don't care if you lift heavy, explosively fast or slow, as long as it's hard, as long as we put in the effort. And that's exactly why the next episode is about mindset. How to handle discomfort and develop skills to push through to the next level.